Tell me when you're ready.
Go ahead, whenever you
All
want.
right, my name is Gene Maddox, and actually just to come here to tell you that I'm a tree hugger. I love trees, and I love fruit trees. Well, I guess I better tell you about my business, my new online business while I'm up here. And first of all, I would like to thank really the supporters and sponsors of Help Me Help You. I think it's a wonderful program. I want to thank the facilitators. Louis Samara is an incredible instructor. He's wonderful. The very knowledgeable monitors, and especially David Kelly, he's been a tremendous help with me. And if he can coordinate me speaking with this, he's going to be even greater. But actually, I'm really excited about this opportunity. I've been telling everybody about this new online business that I'm getting ready to launch, and just, you know, I've just been jumping up and down, and people say, well, that's great, Gene, what are you going to be selling? I'm going to be selling indoor fruit trees. And they go, you're going to sell what? Indoor fruit trees. And, you know, being blind, I can imagine the expressions on their faces going, what? Indoor fruit trees. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be selling. You'll know them as miniature trees. A lot of times, well, as bonsai. You know, there's ornamental art of bonsai associated with Japanese art form being introduced into this country. But before I get into the product, let me tell you just a little bit more about me and my background and how I conceived of this idea. My grandparents on both sides were farmers, and even going back before that, my parents grew up on a farm, and even though we lived in town, we always had a garden. And my grandfather had a farm probably less than a mile from here. And the orchard was my favorite spot on that farm. I don't know, I'm just really into fruit and trees, and, you know, it's just been a passion. As a matter of fact, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I was sitting at home eating some grapes, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, it'd be great to grow these inside. So I get a box about twice the size of a large shoebox, and I put dirt in, I put the seeds in, you know, cover it up, put some water, and shove it under the bed. So I'm waiting around, and I didn't tell Mom and Dad about it because, you know, like, this is going to be a surprise. And actually, after a few days, there were these little tiny microscopic sprouts. I had some vision then, so I could see. And so when I seen these sprouts, I got excited. I went telling Mom and Dad, hey, look, this is going to grow. And they said, not on the bed. And so, you know, I had sense enough to water it, but I just forgot about this sunshine. But anyway, I threw them out because I wanted to grow them in the house, not outside. So I've had this passion for fruit trees and all of that. I work for Rural Resources, and as many of you know, it's agricultural information. And their mission now is to connect farm foods and families. And a great part of that mission is promoting and encouraging the production and consumption of locally grown foods. So in my new business here, I'm going to be, well, how much more locally grown can you get than growing the food right in the house? So, well, that is my business. It is the bonsai miniature fruit tree production associated with the Japanese art of bonsai. But actually, bonsai started in China about 1,000 years ago, and it's the art of creating a miniature tree and a landscape in a container. It was started by highly educated aristocrats in China who were inspired by art, nature, and landscape art. And of course, those are different art disciplines, but they closely linked by the Chinese, then later by the Japanese, and introduced them to this country. They thought that the more that they knew about nature, it would improve their spiritual development. And I think that's true still yet today. So it's a wonderful ornamental art, and it is the growth of miniature fruit trees, and as I said, it's an ornamental art, but you know, there's an aesthetic value. They're beautiful. Fruit tree blooms, I think, are some of the most beautiful flowers there are. The fruits are luscious, and the fruit trees that I'm going to concentrate on in my business are those that do well inside, that produce prolific fruit. And the fragrances are heavenly, just out of this world. Having that in your house, I think, is wonderful. Of course, in the summer, you can take them outside on a patio and on a porch or wherever, even in the yard. But then when it starts to get cold, you burn them back into the house, and they'll continue to do their thing all year round. Along with these trees I'm going to be selling, of course, I'm going to have all the accessories that you'll need to, keep them growing healthily. Drip trays, fertilizers, insect repellents, and all of that. And also, we're going to have the literature, how to grow books, CDs, just everything, all the literature, links to websites about growing miniature fruit trees. There are two wonderful facilitating aspects about this business that I'm excited about. One is that I'm blind, but I have access to the adaptive technology to do this business successfully. The other is that normally if you're going to do a business like this, you'll need a nursery, the greenhouses, you need to stock all the accessories and all of that. But I'm going to use a process known as drop shipping. In other words, my suppliers will have all of that, and they will ship directly to my customers under my label. And, they have all the greenhouse, the nursery, and everything, that they'll take care of that, and even the customer service, the same day and next day shipping out, all that's going to be taken care of by my drop shippers. Also, this gives me an extraordinary advantage. In the first place, I won't have to maintain this. I can avoid the cost of maintaining a nursery and all of that, in which I'd probably have to hire someone because of my disability. But also, the other advantage that dropshipping gives me is the cost. And that gives me a great leverage in my return on my investment. I'll talk a little more about that when we get to the financial aspect. David, I don't know where you are on this thing, but I'm just going. But I want to talk about my target market. Who will that be? Well, people like me, people who have some physical limitation in traditional gardening, and also people who may be limited to gardening because they may be confined to a wheelchair. But anyway, those are the two markets that I've targeted. There is one other market that I didn't calculate in, but there are people who may not be able to garden traditionally or get out because they're aging. But my target market that I have targeted, as I say, are people who are possibly in wheelchairs, people who are blind like me. My research indicates that about 31% of the American population are gardeners. My target group, being representative of the whole, well then it would follow that about 31% of that group would be gardeners. They would garden if they had the opportunity. And that's what my website is about. It's about giving these people, this market, the opportunity. Talk about marketing strategies. Now, how will I communicate? How will I market to these people? Well, some of the strategies are, I would deal with the organizations and media that caters to this group. For instance, for the blind, there's an online magazine called Matilda Ziegler Magazine, and they have a wonderful feature in which I will be able to advertise in their magazine for free. And certainly I'm going to take advantage of that, and the National Federation for the Blind also has those features. And so that's part of my strategy. I didn't include, well, let me go back and say 31% of the market my market will be about 800,000 people, and that's not including the blind that may take advantage of it. But that's my market, a market of about 8,000 people. I think that's enough to keep me busy for a while.